A man lies unconscious on the wet ground amid a rainy night. He instantly jolts awake while gasping for breath. As he tries to stand up, he clutches his arm while groaning in pain. Confused, he looks around the unfamiliar surroundings and questions where he is. The rain continues to pour while he struggles to piece together what happened. He remembers the explosion that should have killed him. Dizzy and disoriented, he recalls his identity as Jin Kwon, a former member of the Special Forces. During a mission, his teammates and Jin fell into an encirclement. By the twist of some cruel fate, they were betrayed by their own organization and used as living beacons for those explosions. His memory ends with the place blasting into pieces and him dying in that horrific blast. He forces himself to walk but staggers as the pain starts to get worse. He knows he has to find a place to hide. He sees signs of someone living there. He spots light coming from a nearby building and approaches it cautiously. He enters through the door, questioning if anyone is here. He finds a man in sight and tries to approach him kindly. However, the man's body was twitching crazily, and he appeared extremely surprised by Jin's presence. Before Jin can speak, the man begins to scream in pain as dark energy surges through his body. Jin also notices someone else shouting from the sewer in that moment. That voice was calling for his brother, and Jin deduces that it was this man. The man collapses, convulsing violently as Jin stumbles back in shock. Within seconds, the dying figure drops a strange metallic tablet that clatters against the floor. Drawn by curiosity, Jin picks it up, murmuring under his breath as he examines it. Before he can look closer, two masked figures appear at the doorway, their presence heavy and menacing. One of them comments that it was just as he thought, and a rat has come out during the rainy season to steal something. One steps forward, eyes glinting with disdain, while the other tightens his grip on a weapon, realizing Jin has seen them. They talk among themselves about how they cannot leave Jin alive as he has seen them. A faint, eerie glow spreads from their hands as they prepare to strike. Sensing the imminent danger, Jin bolts toward a nearby manhole, dodging their attacks while clutching the mysterious object. Frustration burns through him. Hadn't dying once been enough? Now even death itself seemed to be chasing him. Before he can escape, a thunderous explosion rips through the building, consuming everything in blinding heat and smoke. Jin rushed towards the manhole and told the voice to help him, or else he would throw away that steel box and their brother would have died for nothing. Within seconds, the manhole is opened up, probed by a stick, and Jin enters it as well, thanking the figure. As soon as he makes his way down, he has yet another trouble to face. The figure from earlier also jumps down and points a gun at his head. She ferociously questioned who he is and which faction he is from and why he stopped her brother. Too many questions, yet no answers. Alert, Jin says he does not want any trouble and was just looking for a place to get out of the rain. The girl ordered him to hand the item over. Jin Kwon says it is in his court and he takes it out to give it to her. Her eyes instantly teared up with memories of her brother. She fell to the ground, questioning why her brother was so foolish and betrayed his life for an emblem for her. She begins to tremble, questioning how she is supposed to go on in this dog-eat-dog world out there. Jin sighs as he looks at her. He couldn't believe he would be reborn only to see that look in someone's eyes again. It was a familiar look of despair, like that of the refugees in his past life who lost everything and were driven from their homes during the war. And like the women who, having lost their loved ones, emerged from dungeons only to face life again. Women with that look in their eyes feel no joy in being rescued. It is because they have lost their country and their homes and have no one to rely on. Even if they escaped, they would only fall into the hands of others to continue their suffering. Jin assures that child that she should not be afraid and think of him as a mercenary. He determined, he says, that her brother hired him and he will protect her just as he would have. The child instantly stands up and dejectedly says that he might be a good person, but he is not going to live. Upon questioning why, the child reveals that he was exposed to too much dark rain outside, pointing towards his hand. She discloses that this is the dead city and dark rain is not like acid rain. Once it dries, it becomes a potent acid. For someone like him, soaked in it, there is no escape from death. Jin now finally realizes why he was getting weaker and weaker with time. He questions the child. Where is she from and where exactly is this place? He also asks about the skull-masked people. The child reveals that she is from the third dead city, and that place just now was the lower district. They are the lower district enforcers and also magic-type profession holders. However, this only confuses Jin even more, and he questions what year it is and what the name of this country is. The child reveals that it is the year 1000 of the Star Scar era and guesses that it is part of the Flying Eagle Empire. Jin comments that he has never heard of this word, and it seems he has been transported to another one altogether. He points out that the child seems afraid of profession holders and questions how one becomes one. The child says that as long as you obtain an emblem, anyone can awaken as a combat support or special type profession holder. She points to the emblem in her hand, saying that her brother stole this so that she could awaken. She begins to tear up again, saying that now he will never be coming back. She weeps that it is all her fault, as she should not have let him go get it. Jin tries to calm her down and questions if she has any other relatives. The child denies, saying that her brother was her only family. She says if she cannot become a profession holder with this emblem, there is no way she can survive. Jin sighs deeply, remarking that they are both just unfortunate souls. Before he could speak more, he was interrupted by a sudden explosion from outside. The manhole's entrance had been bombarded, shocking the two. The child begins to panic, saying that she has to awaken now or they are both going to die. Determined, she places the emblem on her forehead, but it ends up rejecting her, to her shock. Jin remains confused as he questions what is going on. The child says that there are only two reasons for an emblem's rejection. One is a physical incompatibility, and the other is that she simply does not have the aptitude to become a profession holder. She begins to cry about how useless she is, as the one thing her brother gave his life for has become worthless in her hands. Soon, the lower district enforcers made their way into the manhole. They smirk as they look at the prey before them. You decide to not waste their time talking to them and just kill them to get the emblem back. Left with no other choice, the child looks at the emblem and then at Jin. Determined, she instantly picks up the emblem and places it on Jin's forehead. To everyone's surprise, a burst of red and black energy erupts from the emblem surrounding Jin. The energy fills the air along with dark symbols and heat. Judging from Jin's reaction, the power was immense. The system window instantly pops up, revealing that the class change has been successful. It claimed Jin to be a demonic swordsman with high vitality and the ability to perceive malicious intent. Jin's demeanor instantly shifts as he looks at the law enforcers. It was the start of a new era indeed. All of that is fine, but I still wonder why the emblem rejected the child this ruthlessly. Just for the main character arc, cruel. Jin stares at the panel in surprise. The child explains that for him, this emblem is the ideal fit as he has transformed into an expert. She was happy to see that, unlike the men from before. They ask Jin how dare he use an emblem without permission and sentence him to deal with death. But the tables have turned, my friend. The weak adventurer is gone, and in his place stands a powerful swordsman. So as the enemy lunges forward without warning, Jin instantly responds back by swinging his sword and intercepting the attack. The enemy was shocked and staggered in disbelief. Now it was his turn to strike. He rushes towards them, moving faster than ever, and wields his blade, cutting down multiple of them at once. He was amazed by the power of the emblem, saying that his injured body has healed entirely. The child watches in surprise as Jin's power surges. Jin takes a look at the remaining enemies, who were talking about how they actually lost to a newly awakened rookie. They could not believe it and decided not to report back. Jin gives them depth, clearing up questions if they're still thinking about reporting back. He strikes his blade once again, shouting that they're all staying here, with his last slash. He kills the remaining enforcers. The girl suggests they have to get out of here fast, as someone must discover the truth. Jin looked like the manhole, which was too far away now, and questioned how they will get away from here. The child assures him that she has hidden out here before and urges him to follow her. She activates a TNT, causing a part of the place to explode. Half smiling, the girl reveals that this way there is a staircase on the other side. About an hour later, they exit the manhole and the girl takes him to her place. She makes excuses for the place being a bit messy, but suggests he has a seat while she tidies up a bit. Jin takes a look, saying that it cannot be easy running this shop all by herself. The The fairy instantly pauses and dejectedly says that there used to be two of them, now it's just her. Jin apologizes, saying he did not mean to bring up her brother. They are suddenly interrupted by the presence of three men. The child was shocked as she looked at the man in the middle, recognizing him as the war lord. He approaches the girl closer, questioning if she knows what deal her brother made with him. He smirks as he sees that she does not know. He signals the man to take her away. However, Jin steps up, telling them to stop. The warlord becomes angry, questioning who he is to have sufficient courage to meddle in his affairs. Jin coldly asks what right he has to take her. The man looks down on him, saying that he has the right as a warlord. Jin smiles, saying that he knows he is a good person. He's confident because his professional insight can sense good and evil from the man. He seems fierce on the surface, but he does not have any truly malicious intent. The warlord scoffs, saying that the word good person is a rarity in Dead Man City. He asks if the child's brother left him with some special last words for him. Jin ignores his remarks and asks for the child's prize. The warlord guesses that her brother thought he could make it back from Pit 1. Jin curiously questions what kind of place that is, to which the warlord reveals that it is a mine pit packed with worms that devour sand. Enter these, take what he desires, and bring it back to life. Those were the conditions the warlord put for getting the child. But first, he decides to check out if Jin is even eligible to work out a deal with him. He suddenly shifts forward and throws a punch directly towards him. The girl instantly warns Jin Quan to not accept the challenge, disclosing Wang Meng is a Tier 2 pro. But to Wang Meng's shock, Jin manages to deflect his punch with his sword. Jin asks if he qualifies now. Wang Meng smirks and agrees to the deal, but he is certain a rookie won't be able to survive the Pit number 1. He reveals that Pit number 1 has a grudge spider matriarch. 3 hours after its death, a grudge-cleansing flower blooms. He tells Jen to bring the flower to the lower city street guard post to exchange for the person. He further reveals that all men aged 16 and above from Necropolis 3 must go to Pit 1 tomorrow at 8 a.m. Those who fail to arrive in time will die. With that, they leave along with the girl. Though the situation is unclear, Jin guesses that the girl, Lin Meng's brother, knew he would die in Pit 1. Therefore, he stole the insignia to secure his ordinary sister's future. But he's dead now, and Jin wonders if this could be the warlord's trap. The situation is critical, and so he decides to familiarize himself with his power first. His first talent is Nether Flame Idol. Jin closes his eyes and focuses on his immersion. As he identifies the first tolerant, an instant dark figure emerges beside him, enveloped in dark and blue flames. Jin observes that the second talent is a bit garbled and he cannot make it out, but its power is not to be underestimated. It is because he could still feel the energy coursing through him. He decides to test it and swings his sword, sending a shockwave that splits a wall in half. Jin looks in the mirror, knowing that this is not him, though it looks similar. His skin as a former soldier could not be this pale and tender. Through the system, he reads his name as Diwu Jin Quan. Though his surname and name were the same, the panel was showing the compound surname Diwu. He pushes those cards aside, deciding that the priority is to go out and gather more intel about this world. And so he sets off to a bar first. Any questions about the algorithm if the alcohol is free? He tries blending into the nightlife where people danced and drank, crushed under the flashing lights. The bartender continues doing his work, revealing that tomorrow they are heading into Pit 1. When Ji inquired if they're going to mine tomorrow, the bartender scoffed, saying they're not qualified to mine. He reveals mining is the lower city folks' job. The pit has these bugs called sand devourers. He continues saying that once these bugs have eaten their fill of flesh and blood, they go dig sand to build nests. Lower city miners call the sand devourers digging and nest building, loosening the soil, and so loosened soil is easier to mine and more efficient. Jin was extremely shocked and asked if this means they are going down as the sand devourers' food. The bartender seemed pretty done with life and affirmed, cheering to it. Jin hesitantly clinks his drink as well. Somewhere else, a high-ranking officer, Li Hongyu, slams his fist on the desk in pure fury. He curses at his subordinates for not bringing the insignia like he told them to. One of the men revealed that the thief responsible has been reduced to ashes, and there is no other evidence of identity at the scene. As for the other suspect who escaped, they fled through the underground water channels and used a bomb to destroy the passage after escaping. But Lee Hongyu didn't seem to care and ordered them to find it for him immediately, no matter what it takes. The man becomes astounded and reminds the young master that insignias are only the size of a gold coin, and it is like finding a needle in a haystack. Besides, what if someone else used the insignia? Hongyu stares at him, saying that a bunch of filthy scum does not deserve to possess these insignias, and so they should be killed one by one. The man tries to protest, but is stopped as the other subordinate agrees to, as the young master says. The man speaks once again, reminding the young master that tomorrow morning necropolises 1 to 5 must enter pit number 1 if they are delayed and fail to deliver enough crimson blood, or they might face punishment from the Eagle Corps. Hongyu agrees with him. He suggests everyone be inspected before entering the mine, as the thief who stole the insignia might be hiding among the mining crew. The next day, everyone gathers to enter the pit 1. Judging from the men's faces, they all knew that entering the pit is more like a death sentence. Hongyu also arrives at the site, questioning if everyone is here. After confirming it, he orders for the inspection to be started, leaving no one unchecked. His subordinate shows a machine called Scavenger Beat Woe, which is highly sensitive to spiritual energy. If it detects an insignia, it will definitely sound an alarm. The officers began to move systematically through the crowd after Hongyu ordered them to start. Jin notices them and seconds to grow alert. One of the officers pushed Jin inside the train, telling him to quit wasting time. The train was already filled to the brim, and everyone complained about being crushed to death. Amid such a crowd, Jane suddenly spots a creepy hooded man. The man was grinning markedly as he held a glowing purple crystal. Jin's eyes widened as he sensed the danger immediately, unable to wonder why he could feel such a strong feeling of malice here. It was soon becoming unbearable for the men in the train to breathe. The situation was so bad that 2 men were already crushed to death. Panic begins to intensify among the people as they begin to shout that they cannot fit any more people. But suddenly, guards began to storm the place and drew their guns at the crowd, telling them to raise their hands up. Jin also complies with their orders. Hongyu soon enters the place and scans the area. He reveals that he lost something valuable in the lower city yesterday and suggests they hand it over to whoever took it. Jin becomes astonished as he leads the thing he lost yesterday, which could be the emblem. Surely it cannot be a coincidence. Hongyu smiles as no one was fessing up and says that he will just have to find it himself. As he says, this second venture, Beat Woe, is launched and it scans the room. It also scans Jin. But to his surprise, the technology does not detect any spiritual energy from him. The machine continues to scan the people. Suddenly, its alarm went off, revealing that spiritual energy has been detected. Hongyu loves as he has finally found that person. But the hooded man was instantly confused. He could not even run anywhere. He begins to beg the officer not to kill him and shows him that all he has is the purple crystal. Hongyu stares at the cursed crystal and importantly throws it on the ground, causing it to snitch into many pieces. Furious, he remarks that no one wants this piece of junk and tells the machine to get back to scanning. However, no new spiritual energy anomalies were detected. Hongyu grows irritated, but he has no choice but to lead his team to the next train car. 5 hours passed by. Jin questions where they are, as they have been on the train for a very long time. One of the passengers reveals that the red light up ahead means they are entering pit 1. It discloses that the guards already jumped off the train, so no one is in charge now. As the train goes in deeper, the passenger opens the window. He dives out, revealing that the train goes straight into the heart of the pit. The deeper they go, the more monsters there will be. Jin concludes that they have arrived at their destination. And so, like the others, he also follows and leaps from the train. He ends up landing amid a cavern of glowing red crystals. Jin quietly scans the place. It was a totally unknown place and he had no intel. It was a time like this that he wished he had a guide. His attention diverts and his eyes sharpen as he sees a sudden wave of red energy flaring around him. Jin instantly gets into position and swings his blade around. He He glares ahead, telling him to come out so they can talk, as he has been sneaking around long enough. A silver-haired man angrily shouts at him to shut his mouth and die. He leaps out and instantly charges at Jin, but Jin manages to dodge that attack. He then grabs the man by his hair and pulls him towards the ground. The man coughs blood, and Jin swings his blade towards him, telling him to go to hell. But the man's demeanor shifts as he begs for his life, saying that he had no choice. Upon inquiry, he revealed his name to be Cheng Xiao. Jin questions why he tried to jump him too, with Cheng Xiao reveals that he has been stuck here for over 10 days and was starving. And so he figured he would kill and eat him. Jin asks how he became a profession holder, to which he says that you can get an emblem from killing monsters, but it is not common. Your best bet is to find one of the rich kids from the upper district when they come down here, as most of them do not even want to do this stuff. He rambles about how you'll be a real pain to be around and they will use you as bait for monsters. It is tough to make it out here unless you get lucky and find someone who is actually a decent person. Jin looks around and asks if there is any way to survive in this pit. Cheng Xiao scratches his head and denies. He suggests Hetri to find a cave and hide. If he can stay hidden for 15 days, he might make it until the miners or rich kids show up. But if you cannot fight the bugs, you will just starve to death. Jin asks him how he leveled up. Cheng Xiao answers that you kill bugs, but this is Pit 1, so the bugs start at level 11, and so they're just here to be fertilizer. Jin suddenly becomes alert as he sees something approaching Cheng Xiao. He instantly pushes them out of danger's way as a giant mosquito dives towards them. It was a level 9 red-blooded mosquito. Jin instantly takes out his sword, muttering how he has not been here that long and he is already running into bugs. Cheng Xiao instantly makes a run for it, saying that they are dead if they do not get out of here now. However, Jin instantly kills the enemy. He calmly says that the mob level is high, but his talent is no joke. Cheng Xiao's mouth gaped open. In utter shock, he could not believe that Jin just took one shot at a red-blooded mosquito. He instantly gets to his knees, begging Jin to make him his right-hand man. But Jin rejects him, saying he does not want any dead weight. All of a sudden, the ground begins to tremble, and Jin notices glowing light forming ahead. From there, a level 15 crystal bug emerges towards them. While the beast roars, Jin remains flabbergasted. Jin was able to dodge its attack, unlike Cheng Xiao. Terrified and desperate, he screams to Jin for help. Using his dark insight power, Jin analyzes the monster as someone with high defense but slow and clumsy. He smiles, saying that this is his kind of fight. And so he faces the monster head-on. He radiates the red and blue aura and unleashes his power onto the beast. He wields his sword at the bug's crystal shell, shattering it into pieces. Just then, the system message notification pops up, congratulating him on killing the level 15 crystal ore bug, which helped him gain 1000 X points. Jin couldn't believe he got 6 levels in an instant. It seems this world's rules really are just like an online game. If that is the case, he guesses the bigger the level gap with an enemy, the better the drop rate. Jin finishes defeating another bug as well. With his hands, he dives into the monster's flesh and gets out an equipment emblem. He couldn't believe that they really do drop items, though. It was not a class emblem, it is an equipment emblem. When he tries to equip it, however, it rejects him, and the system window pops up, revealing that his level is too low and so it cannot be equipped. Jin decides to forget about it and check out the area first, as staying alive is the top priority right now. He begins to venture deep into the cave but holds as he comes across a swarm of red eyes. Soon enough, those red eyes began to approach him, getting bigger, revealing that there were instead crystal bugs, and a swarm above all. He smiles. This was perfect for his grinding. It seems that Jin was enjoying this time. He swings his blade around, managing to kill the crystal bugs, increasing his efficiency and levels. He continues parading his sword around, killing all of them one by one. He had managed to reach level 10. Notifications flashed around him, confirming his skills and level, and finally he was able to achieve a class emblem. He guesses that swordsmanship emblems must also exist if there are class and equipment emblems. This makes him even more motivated to fight. However, his attention diverts as he hears a noise. He looks at the ground and sees a green liquid seeping its way from the ground. It suddenly squirts towards him, but Jin dodges the impact. The ground begins to tremble once again as an enormous creature makes its way towards him. The system identifies it as level 25 Crystal or Bug King. Jin was astounded, knowing that this is going to be a problem, and so he decides to bail as there is no point in fighting a losing battle. He begins to flee, and on his way he notices a pack of wolves. They had also noticed him and were enraged. Formulating a quick plan, Jin lures both types of monsters towards each other. He rushes towards the pack of wolves with the bug behind him. As the king bug spouts that acid green liquid, it impacts the pack of wolves instead of Jin. The wolves veiled in agony. But Jin successfully manages to redirect their aggression towards the bug now. And now, from a safe distance, he watches his plan in action with amusement. He hopes they tear each other apart, and he will just wait for a chance to learn the finishing blow. In a rampage, the pack of wolves ferociously begins to attack the king bug, gnawing at its shell. Taking the perfect opportunity, Jin jumps onto the bug. He smiles when he sees its defense is broken and prepares his sword for attack. In one final blow, he stabs the bug, killing it instantly. Jin thinks of leveling up faster, as a tier 2 boss is still hard to kill for him. He is afraid he would have been injured at the very least if he had not used the power of other monsters. He then begins to examine his loot. The system displays the dropped items, equipment, emblem, Beetle's Leap Blue, tier 2 boots, and Agility Plus. The stairs are the emblems in his hand, saying that they're useless for now, and he decides to put them away first, but he is instantly distracted by a sudden explosion. He becomes alert, questioning if someone is there. From the shadows, a flock of birds begins to emerge while the ground trembles beneath him. He could hear the sound coming from a direction and began to approach it, wondering what happened. He hears a shrill voice warning those nearby not to come any closer or they will just die. Jin immediately freezes as he recognizes the voice. It was none other than the red-haired bartender he had met that day. The bartender's face was staggering as he mumbles that he will die sooner or later if he stays trapped here. He looks at the level 19 vampiric Bluebat Kings, saying that they have been eyeing him and there is no way to escape. However, he was determined not to wait for death and might as well make a final stand. He bravely points his gun towards the two bosses. He fires at them, but it only makes the two bad kings even more furious. They instantly charged at the bartender with monstrosity. The bartender grits his teeth in frustration as he really wanted to try and live. However, before he could be killed by the two bats, there is a sudden slash of black energy that cuts through the air. To the man's surprise, the Bat Kings are instantly sliced apart. He becomes even more shocked as he sees Jin casually approaching him like it is nothing. The bartender smiles and thanks him for this favor. He then tells Jin to follow him as he will lead him out of here. However, the bartender immediately holds as he sees the bats' corpses twitching. They swiftly merge into one monster, roaring with hunger. The two men knew this was not a good thing, and their eyes widened as they looked at the grotesque creature. Without wasting further time, it instantly charges at them. They tell each other to watch out as the creature attacks them with flames. The red-haired man courageously steps forward, telling Jin that he will hold it off while he should find a way to get out of here quickly. He shoots his rifle, releasing a wave of icy cold energy that makes the Bat King's flame freeze in midair. When JN refuses to go, the bartender looks at him in astonishment, asking if he is crazy. He reminds the man that it is a fusion type several times stronger than a normal pose. If they do not go, they will all die here. Jin half smiles, saying it is not certain who will die. Besides, killing a boss gives more experience. And so, with all his might, he steps forward and charges straight at the grotesque creature. The red-haired man looks at him anxiously, calling him out for being a madman. He says he has never seen anyone so eager to die. God knows he has never seen a man with an aura before. Jin clashes with the monster head-on. He slashes his sword at its body, making the monster even more furious. Jin had expected this one to be a bit different from the previous pause. He activates his nether flame power. This ends up unleashing a blue flame guard statue. It was in the form of a knight who begins to fight with the creature. The red-haired man's mouth opens in shock as he cannot believe that he's seeing blue flames. He could not believe there is still a descendant of the Legion family. As long as he remembers, it was only left with the woman. By now, Jin had reached level 15. He comments that leveling up seems to be getting slower. 3 bosses plus a few hundred bats only got him 4 levels. The redhead man hangs him for saving his life. Jin curiously questions if he is a class holder or a normal person. The man sighs, saying he used to be a class holder but was stripped and turned into a normal person. Now he's just barely surviving with the weapon he has in his hands. Jin is taken aback, not knowing that such a method exists that can turn a glass holder into a normal person. The man awkwardly laughed, saying it is not as easy as he thinks, and he might be the only person alive to have achieved this. Upon questioning, he explains that in the abyss there is a poison called the Death God's Flower. Its lethal method is to corrupt a class holder's class emblem, causing their power to regress to that of a normal person, and then the abyss's potent poison erupts. He smiles dejectedly, saying he was the only one in his family who did not awaken a talent. But as the eldest son, according to ancestral tradition, he inherited a very powerful class emblem. It is just that the human heart is hard to fathom. Jin smiles. He says that listening to him, he can already picture a whole drama about the 9 sons fighting for the throne and him being the deposed crown prince. The red-haired man says that you should not be the one to talk. It is because he does not even have a drama of fighting for the throne. It is the pot calling the kettle black. So he affirms that they are the same kind of people. Jin becomes confused. The red-haired man says he thought his family had gone extinct, and he did not expect a sole survivor like Jin to still be around. He comments that he can just imagine the look on the Tianqi Empire's face when they see him in the future. Jin couldn't believe that the man knows him. The man reveals that over 1,000 years ago, a pioneer awakened an SSS-rank talent. At the same time, he also obtained the legendary class Holy Light Knight. Both class holders and monsters got a headache whenever they ran into him. That man's name was Qing Xuan, and the talent he awakened was called the Nether Flame God Statue. Jin's mouth opens wide in shock. He could not believe he has such a bloodline heritage in this world, but he could not understand why the red-haired man was using the word extinct. The red-headed man says he won't get into the matter with the Empire, as his family was just a disappointment. For hundreds of years, not a single one could awaken even an SSS-rank statue, and the clan leader only had an S-rank statue. They get interjected as they suddenly hear something approaching from behind. A glowing equipment emblem materializes before them. Jin crushes it to reveal a new weapon. He smiles in satisfaction, saying this is not much worse than his previous one, and it would be even better if it could be fused. He decides to test its might and swings the blade, releasing a surge of powerful energy. He is surprised to see how powerful it is along with the speed bonus. Jin was surprised to see that it actually worked and enhanced. He then turns to the red-haired man and gives him the blue and purple emblems, asking if he wants them. However, the guide declines, uninterested, saying that they are low-level emblems. He then reveals his desire to make a deal with Jin. He shows him a legendary-grade glass emblem he has. He explains that it is an extremely rare ultra-long-range sniper class with wide area attacks. In the future, if Jin wants to formally join and explore the wasteland along Ridge, Sniper is the one thing his team cannot do without. Jin is impressed to hear its qualities and questions if it is really legendary. The red-haired man elaborates that emblems come in 8 recorded grades, corresponding to white for inferior, gray for common, green for fine, blue for superior, purple for exceptional, orange for epic, gold for legendary, and lastly red for mythic. He reveals his wishes to trade this legendary Great Loss emblem for a favor. As he hands it to Jin, he cheekily asks if he isn't afraid he will just take it. The bartender smiled, saying that they are the same kind of people. Takes out a map revealing that his family was the one who first opened this mine, but then later sold it to the Flying Eagle Legion. He promises to make Jin reach rank 3 in this mine with minimal risk with his guidance. Once he is at rank 3, he will not have to fear anyone in the lower city. Jin begins to ponder over the deal and asks what exactly he needs his help with. The man answers that according to his family's records and abyss scythe, Rat was once spotted in pit number 1. It has the innate ability to sense and open abyss fissures. If he can just get it to open once, their deal is done. He explains that once he reaches rank 3, he can use that skill he just showed him to wound the abyss rat enough to make it feel threatened. and force it to open up a portal to the abyss to escape. Jin understands that he first needs to get to rank 3. The man tells him not to worry, as he can help him with that. Jin then asks the man if he knows where the resentment spider matriarch is in the pit. The man is taken aback and asks what he wants with that thing. Jin, with the serious expression, reveals that he needs a clear resentment flower. The man smiles and reveals that there is a reason why his family sold Pit 1. First, without the sand-devouring worms, the red blood ore here is extremely difficult to mine. And second, the presence of that resentful spider matriarch is why Pit 1 remains only semi-explored. He points towards the location in the map, revealing that this part is a restricted area. Redstone Tourism has even forbidden children from the upper city from playing here. He discloses that the resentment spider matriarch is a rank 3 level 39 overlord. For anyone below rank 4, no matter how many people you bring, you are just feeding the spider. Jin agrees to help the man find the abyss rat, but in return he wants all the information he has on the resentment spider matriarch and this map. With that, the two men were able to crack a deal, and so they began to venture deeper into the crimson tunnels. The red-haired man tells him to watch his step, as there are level 18 steel-tailed scorpions here who can burrow underground and are good at sneak attacks with their tails. He also adds that he can level up fast hunting here. All of a sudden, one of the steel-tailed scorpions launched a surprise attack. Jin relaxed instantly. Using his new fusion weapon, he quickly wields it at the scorpion. The scorpion screeches at the two men. Jin warns the red-haired man to get back, or he might be caught in the crossfire. He then steadies his balance and swiftly slashes through the scorpion's body, cutting it into two halves. The red-haired guy instantly rushes towards its corpse, revealing that steel-tailed scorpions drop hemostatic hides, which can be used for healing. He then clutches his wound, saying that he needs it for recovery. However, he instantly freezes in his tracks as he sees another beast approaching from behind. Just as the scorpions close in, Jin swiftly draws his sword once again. He swings it ferociously at the creatures, warning them to stay away from his friend. More and more steel-tailed scorpions begin to make their way towards the two men, but Jin faced them with unwavering resolve. He continues to wield his sword around, killing the remaining scorpions. He seized the red-haired man retreating first and decided to hold them off for now. With the single strike, he was able to cut down several of those creatures. The system window instantly pops up, revealing that he has killed creatures that are 7 levels higher than him, increasing his efficiency rating to 100%. He has leveled up to 16 now. Jin was glad that these tier 2 monsters are so easy to kill now. On the other hand, the red-haired man wondered if this is really the power of a tier 1 professional. Even an ordinary swordsman protected with SSS rank talent would not be able to unleash such power. Jin couldn't enjoy his victory much longer as he suddenly noticed something strange above him. It was a shady, plant-like creature on the wall of the tunnel. The red-haired man begins to instantly retreat, revealing that those vines behind him are level 25 lords. They have a strong regeneration. Even if you cut them into pieces, they will regenerate. He says he needs to hit the amethyst on their back. Jin did not even have the chance to process what the man just said when suddenly the monstrous vines lashed out. It instantly charged towards him, opening its mouth wide, probably to devour. Jin dodges the attack and jumps onto its tendrils. He was confident, saying that the monster's weakness is too obvious. He channels all his strength into one decisive strike and rushes towards the monster's core. The monster creature is in pain and explodes instantly. The Windows system notification pops up congratulating Jin for leveling up to 18 and killing the flower-mouthed insect king. The red-haired man was in disbelief, finding his sword technique pretty strange as every cut is smooth and clean like slicing tofu. The men both see two more crests apparent. One was purple, called the flower-mouthed rain. Its special attribute was flower healing. It basically heals the target and leaves a healing seed within their body, which then continuously restores injuries. Second was blue, called Divine Radiance. It was a tier 2 priest skill that channels divine energy to heal all allies within range and grants divine protection, reducing incoming damage. The man questions Jin if he has a debilitating skill. Seeing him confused with the red-haired man reveals that the debilitation affects living beings. In short, it suppresses healing and recovery. When your blade cuts, the wounds on those monsters seem to melt like cheese. Jin begins to ponder deeply as he hears this. He admits that his attacks are indeed peculiar, but it is all due to the garbled talent bonus. He is cut off from his thoughts as the red-haired man questions if he has tried unequipping a crest. He shakes his head in denial. The red-haired man elaborates that unequipping a crest causes it to dissipate into the world and it cannot be traded or transferred. Only upon your death might a crest coalesce. So he warns him not to treat crests as mere equipment, as they are a part of your body's power and a part of your cultivation. He tells Jin that with his abilities, there is no need for him to be in this area anymore and advises him to head directly to the north. And so he heads towards the Lava Lord. On their way, the red-haired man explains that the Tier 3 Lava Lord has incredibly high defense and immense power, but it is usually sleeping. If Jin can apply his sharpness to it, it might have an unexpected effect. Upon asking, the red-haired man reveals that killing it will help Jin advance a tier, and he also needs lava fruit, as it is the abyssal rat's favorite food. They finally reach the Lava Lord. The red-headed man reveals that this one is level 39 and the strongest domain lord besides the Overlord class Grudge Spider Queen. Jin becomes instantly energized and decides to give it a try. He picks up a rock and throws it at the Lava Lord, but the rock breaks into pieces, not affecting the Lord in the slightest. This confirms that its defense is incredible. He then decides to let the Lava Lord taste his blade. In a few moments, his sword splits the Lava Lord's head in two, causing him to groan in pain and wake up from his deep slumber. And just like that, he had killed the creature. The red-haired man stumbles back in utter astonishment, unable to believe that Jin actually did it. Jin becomes excited to equip a Tier 3 orange epic equipment crest. Jin checks out the new equipment emblems that he just gained. One was orange, which increases strength by 10% after each successful hit, also unleashing a lava shock. The lava shock transforms into a meteorite and crashes, causing an explosion dealing massive damage. The purple breastplate creates a damage-absorbing shield. The purple helmet increases self's hit rate by 10%. The purple pauldrons help gain a damage-absorbing shield after every 3 successful hits. Jin smiles with satisfaction and decides to check if he can advance his tier now. He is on level 20 now, but he still needs a swordsmanship emblem to advance. His attention diverts as the red-haired man cheers on finding a love of fruit. He says that with this, his hope of defying fate is at least 20%. Jin walks towards him and asks if he knows any swordsmanship class emblems drop in this pit. He reveals that he is already level 20 and needs a swordsmanship emblem to advance, otherwise his level cannot increase. The man begins to ponder, saying that quite a few monsters drop swordsmanship emblems, but the drop rate is too low. You have to kill monsters at least 5 levels higher for the probability to be a little better. The man asks Jin what kind of swordsmanship skills he prefers, to which he reveals agility-based. The man shakes his head, advises him to go for a constitution and tenacity-based swordsman build. He explains that a constitution-based sportsman's defense is worse than a knight's, who can equip a shield, and their damage output is worse than an agility-based high-damage assassin. Even if they can use skills frequently thanks to high constitution, the damage is still pitifully low and thus is a very useless build. He points to Jin, saying that he is different. He has seen constitution-based swordsmen die horribly to monster hordes due to a lack of damage output. But Jin's Netherflame statue can supplement his defense paired with the rushing skill. So as long as he chooses a fast-rushing swordsmanship skill to make up for agility, he will be a nearly perfect class. His words made sense to Jin. He asks the man for the next location. The man assesses the map and says they can check out the dried-up Mindspring, the Ghostwood Valley, and the train terminus. For class tier advancement, you only need 1 skill emblem from your own class. He says that if they manage to get all 3, it will be enough to reach tier 3. As for Tier 4, that requires a class breakthrough, and it is impossible to achieve that in this pit number 1. Somewhere else in the lower district, young Master Li was having a breakdown. He was lashing out because he had still not managed to find that emblem. His subordinates tried to convince him that this thing is a needle in a haystack and that it is really too difficult. Another argues that after this opening, pit number 1 will need 20 years to open again. The subordinates also revealed that on the way here, they received several calls saying a group of young masters from the upper city want to enter early. Someone has probably already gone to the city of the dead to pick out path bait. This shocks the officer, and he argues that they cannot go in without his order. If the thief contacts them, his status as an upper city young master will be completely useless. Insubordinate firmly says that he is merely a minor city lord in the lower district, and he cannot stop them all. He suggests the young master step in. This enrages him even more, but before he could do something, he gets a call. It was from his second uncle, who demanded to know where the item is. He instantly fakes a gentle demeanor and assures his uncle that it is right here with him. He makes up an excuse that a friend of his is having a birthday these 2 days and insisted he come and hang out. Therefore, he will be back the day after tomorrow. His uncle, angry, tells him not to come back either if he does not get it back. With that, he ends the call. The officer instantly calls Old Fang, asking for his help to intercept the group from the upper city. Fang Huai tells him that the Flying Eagle Empire does not belong to his family, and he will have a hard time proving himself not guilty. But he decides to check the place where the emblem was lost. He says that the explosion passages still blow and there are no other tunnels left or right. It is almost certain the person is in the city of the dead. After ending the call, he turns to old Joe and asks if he thinks they can get the item back. Joe firmly mentions how the family had always said if you do it, it will be done, and since the young master is trying his best, it will eventually be done. Back in the crimson tunnels of Pit 1, Jin has now killed the Rhino-horned Bug King, which was 9 levels higher than him with 100 effectiveness. The red-haired man asks Jin if he can have the Rhino horn. If he does not want it, it is because with this his leg should be able to recover quickly. Jin says that he can have it because he already found what he needs. He jumps off the bug with the skill emblem in his hand. He smiles, saying that demon swordsmanship allows him to learn skills 1 tier higher. The emblem accepts him, and the system window congratulates him on successfully learning the army breaker's blade. The purple energy begins to surround Jin. His eyes glow as he swings his blade around, cutting the horn from the bug. The red-haired man was flabbergasted as he commented that his progress is very fast. Jin was also pretty surprised and says he just needs to find 1 more tier 2 small monster and he will advance. The red-haired man reveals that there is a monster in here called the bone-eating fish. It is in the water, so it is not easy to kill. He activates his weapon, saying that they can use the meat from this Rhino-horn Bug King as bait and try to fish for it. The fishing rod soon begins to tug, and the red-haired man announces that they have got a bite. He soon manages to pull and fish out the level 23 bone-eating fish. As soon as he spots the bone-eating fish monster, Jin swings his sword and beheads the fish. With that, the system announces his advancement to Tier 2. Now he was titled as the Demonic Swordsman level 21. Jin smiles happily. The 2 men then decide to take a break and eat something. The red-haired man roasts some meat, and Jin praises him, saying that business would probably be good if he led a tour group. Jin begins to drink some water and questions if this world is very large. The man replies affirmatively, saying the human race has been constantly pioneering and no one knows what the ends of the world are like. In this Hengsha domain of theirs, 3 superpowers have emerged. They are the Flying Eagle Empire, the Apocalypse Empire, and the Elemental Holy City. They all respect the strong here. Jin hears this and says that survival here sounds very difficult then. The man says that in this world, only by being strong can you be free. Everything else is just living under someone else's thumb. Jin questions, how long does he think the current Flying Eagle Empire can last? The red-haired man says that back when he still had some power, there were already signs of beast tides rising and falling on the border. Therefore, he is not optimistic that the 3 major powers can withstand the tide. Therefore, they will eventually return to the wandering era with monster nests everywhere. The men also suggest they avoid tour groups who might be entering Pit 1 at any time. On the outer platform of the Dead City, a tour group trained comes by. Li travels with Ling and another man. He had no choice but to bear with them, as he could not let them find the missing emblem. Jin questions what a tour group is. The red-haired man reveals they're groups of young masters from the upper district who come down for fun. They find pleasure in killing, and they're also looking for opportunities. The redhead man stands up, suggesting they move to the Ghostwood Valley now to level up. On the way, he explains that there will be many slicing blade mantises here who are agility-type monsters. He hands Jin a blood bud shock bomb. He explains that when it detonates, it will release blood filaments into the air, which are adhesive and can greatly slow an enemy's mobility. He points out that Jin has a super armor skill, so he can break free and kill that monster lord quickly. After the mantis dies, a larger number of iron wire parasites that have a load defense will surge from its body. The man reveals that his previous profession was called blood-flesh mechanic, a profession that combines the mystical and technology. He tells Jin to let him kill the parasites that will appear later alone, as he wants to advance his gun. Jin was extremely impressed to know that weapons can also be advanced by killing monsters. But the red-haired man half smiles, revealing that it isn't a weapon and was once his guard, which died because of him. He reveals that he refined this into the ghost blood sphere and that it is still a profession holder. Jin tells him to kill the parasites if he can, as he just needs the 100 efficiency kill on that monster, Lord. Before he could have time to assess the area, the grotesque picture made its way towards him, ready to attack. Jin instantly unleashes his blue flame knight. As the mantis was busy fighting with the knight, Jin took his opportunity to kill the creature. He slices it in half, instantly leveling up. But his nether flame god statue was actually cut open with such a high attack by the creature. But the red-haired man tells him to fall back. Jin looks at the creature's lifeless body and sees that it is regenerating. From its lower half, it begins to grow tendrils of parasites. The red-haired man steps up, telling him to leave it to him, and then watches and feels satisfaction at the cool effect. Soon enough, more of the mantises began to rush and roar their way towards them. While Jai tries to handle one of the mantises, the other two appear behind him. The red light man warns him to get out of the crowd quickly, but just as the monsters try to attack him, he activates his nether flame god statue. He ends up killing the mantises, which are 4 levels higher than him. I feel like the third one deals with the remaining parasites. He praises his strong reflexes. But suddenly Jin senses another mantis presence and quickly cuts it in half. Soon, another herd of monsters began to readily approach them. Jin uses his troll's earth-rending slash on them, killing them all in one swing. The system congratulates him on reaching level 22. Jin's bugged, garbled talent grants him infinite cutting damage with one slash. They're either dead or maimed and cannot even block. He suddenly senses the surprise attack and flinches his body in the front to avoid it. He looks back and sees that it is a hidden boss, Mantis. His body becomes even more alert as he wonders how he was almost killed. The redhead man reminds him to use the thunder bomb quickly. Jin blades and the bomb instantly explode in midair. Ropes began to emerge from it, interrupting the gang. Seeing that the boss is immobilized now, the red-haired man signals Jin to do it right now. Jin wastes no more time and slices the Mantis King in 2 halves. With this, he was able to achieve level 23. From the mountains, 2 king emblems emerged. They were both skill emblems. Jin knows he just needs to make sure he has 3 swordsman skills when he is ready to advance to tier 3. The red-haired man happily reveals that his weapon has also advanced. He then asks Jin how many more levels he needs. Jin answers that he only needs 1 level and says it is best to find high-level but slow monsters next, as that will help him hunt quickly too. The man agrees and tells him to follow him to a new place. He introduces him to spinal horned oxen, a relatively docile type of monster. He explains to Jin that as long as he does not attack them, they do not have a strong desire to attack, but if he does, it will trigger a war storm charge. Jin asks if there is any good way to deal with them, to which the man reveals that it is best to use terrain and fortifications. He says that back in the day, the pioneers used earth-type mages to dig a large number of trenches and traps, pairing them with earth-sinking skills to slow the herd's charge. But they do not have those resources and can only carve holes into the rock wall. However, the spinal-horned oxen have a skill called Earth Prison, which can instantly seal the rock and drop you. So if you use a cave in the rock world to dodge the herd's war stomp, you must come out immediately after. Jin takes a few seconds to process what he just said and tells the red-haired man to stand aside and watch. The red-haired man aims at the monsters below. With precise accuracy, he then shoots his weapon. It instantly catches the attention of the oxen below, and they begin to get infuriated. They all support the man and begin to rush towards him. The man signals Jin that they are here and he should get ready. Jin says that he is all set. He confidently states that even if they surround him, they cannot hurt him. The creatures instantly activate monstrous energy, which heads towards the cliff upon which the red-haired man was standing. The cliff instantly begins to tremble and fall apart. Jin is glad he listened to the man, Jai Ran's advice. Otherwise, he would be a pancake by now. Jurin explains that the spinal bulls need to cool down after using their skills, and this is their only chance to kill them. Jin understands, and he unleashes his troll's earth-rending slash technique onto the bulls. He then sprang upon them, swinging his blade, and killed many of them in one strike. Jurin's eyes widened in utter surprise. He could not believe the man was so strong that he used 2 skills and consecutive quick movements to kill them all. Even at his peak, he knew he would be no match for this guy. Even with his family's SSS rank talent and the mythic class Flash Mech Scrapper, he still could not win. Jin finally manages to subdue all of them and reach level 29. Jurin was planning to use his gun to pull half the herd, but it was not needed at all thanks to him. Jin questions if the spinal bull herd is allowed. Jurin shakes his head, saying that if it did, it would be another Decenter matriarch. But he sits down, observing the bull's corpse, saying that they contain excellent detoxification materials. He stabs the corpse and fishes them out, saying that they are worth a lot. Jin instantly becomes excited and questions if they are not rich by now. Jurin smiled, saying he can sell them to the consortium as their main business is potions. These detoxification materials alone are enough to let you live a decent life, but he says one needs to be quick, as the stench of blood and hair is too strong and a large number of monsters will be here soon. Jurin then puts the materials in his pocket. Jin reveals that he is 1 level away from his class advancement, and it is perfect if monsters are coming. Jurin tells him that it will not just be one type of monster and could be several different monster groups, which will not be easy to deal with. He says they can probably get enough by killing what is in their way. Jin agrees with him but decides not to waste the emblems that just dropped. After gathering them, they began to venture their way deeper into the pit. Upon asking, Jurin reveals that they're going to the central area. This area has the highest concentration of monsters and contains a refuge nest. Jin asks about the refuge nest, to which Jurin reveals that there is a bug called the silver thread silkworm. It lives in the caves of the red earth. They have a habit of storing food, and they leave a giant cocoon underground as a feeding nest, and any prey that they catch is trapped inside. So as long as they entered the feeding nest, they should be able to kill a lot of monsters easily. In the Pit 1, the rich tour group makes their way in. They all introduce themselves thanks to their family ranks. One of the guys thanks Zhu for leading them in the pit. Zhu affirms that their main mission this time is land reclamation. Once the cleanup is done, everything else is negotiable. After he gets the chance to sit alone, he begins to get bored, wondering when the train is going to stop. Jurin and Jin soon spot the tourist grouped train. Jurin becomes appalled, as what he knew was that the tour group was supposed to be 15 days from now. He instantly makes eye contact with Zhu in the train. As soon as the two recognize each other, they become shocked. According to what Zhu knew, Jurin is supposed to be dead. He instantly becomes enraged and opens the train window and leaps off.